Classic WoW is in the golden age right now. It's got epic world PvP, battlegrounds to slay alliance in, and world bosses with epics that'll easily have you topping the damage meter. But you might be missing all the action, sidelined because leveling takes forever, the boosting costs too much gold. Even farming mats for biz gear like Lionheart, it takes too much money, and more importantly, it takes too much time. That's why I'm relying on my easy, passive gold makers that print me money even when I'm short on time, whether I'm sleeping, I'm cooking, or maybe working out. Before we begin though, let's talk. Have you found any ways to make gold the lazy, the AFK way? Let's see if great minds think alike and we come up with the same methods. So we know gold is everything in Classic for the epic mount, sappers and battlegrounds for biz gear. And we all know how awful it is to not have that gold, with your levels, your gear, your general fun really suffering. So let's start with a gold maker that will guarantee you some profit every single day to fix that up. We are back with Vendor Auction House Profit with more methods and more ways to make money than ever before. Step 1 is to level your first aid. Anybody can level first aid. You get it to 210, you can make Mage Weave bandages. Then every few hours, you gotta have a ritual like I do. You just check the auction house, any silk cloth below 2 silver, any Mage Weave cloth below 4 silver. Anytime that's the case, you make the heavy silk bandages or the normal Mage Weave bandages, you sell them to the vendor, and you make free profit. Completely passive, completely AFK money. Now the thing is, you can do this with cooking too, things like tiger meat. Or an even more insane profit maker would be leatherworking with the Nightscape headbands. I'm going to attach a new sheet with all sorts of very good AFK profitable vendor flips to really make you money while you're not doing anything. So at this point you might be saying, hey, I don't even have the money to do these profitable vendor flips. Well, this next gold maker is really going to solve your problems. Let's talk mining and herbing. And you're probably thinking mining and herbing, they're not going to solve your problems because there's so much effort. But what if I told you there were ways to make thousands of gold completely AFK with mining or with herbing? First, you can smelt to level mining, so that really will cut the amount of effort in half to get to those lucrative rich thorium veins. The whole time you smelt, you can really make profit too, and even when you're maxed mining, smelting is fantastic. Take bronze bars for example. Every single day you can smelt copper, you can smelt tin, and you can make bronze bars for consistent auction house profit. Really, a lot of smelting leads to profit because a lot of these gold buyers, they want to get their engineering up, but they don't want to do the mining. That means even smelting iron ore into bars, or smelting thorium ore into bars, can make you completely AFK money with no effort. So when you finally get to 275 mining, you can finally start mining those rich thorium veins. That means passive free profit. Whenever you run Dire Maul East, for example, you just tap the nodes, you get free money, arcane crystals, it's fantastic. Getting back to herbalism as well though, there's an even easier way to make money with herbalism and mining that's completely AFK. See, there's a way to camp specific areas where you never have to move when you're mining, when you're herbing, and you can make so much free profit. For example, in Winter Spring, there are these different nodes. As long as you mine all the ores in those nodes, you're guaranteed to spawn between every 2 to 7 minutes. That means every 2 to 7 minutes, you've got a chance at arcane crystals or blue sapphires. Alternatively, you could AFK camp the God spawn in Burning Steppes, 4 different chances at Black Lotus, and an additional 6 spawns within about a 10-second mount ride. That means a very good chance of getting a Black Lotus every hour or so, without ever lifting a finger. So AFK mining, AFK Lotus camping, they're great, but unless you have multiple accounts, they're not going to really scale up and make you those thousands of gold profit. That's why this next lazy gold maker, it infinitely scales, even to thousands of gold per week. See, if you level your alchemy to 275, you can start transmuting arcane crystals into arcanite bars. Every 48 hours, that's a profit of between 10 to 15 gold for doing nothing. Even better at 250 leatherworking. Every 3 days, you turn a deep rock salt into a refined deep rock salt. 30 to 40 gold profit like clockwork. Where this gets really crazy though is that you can keep reinvesting into more alts with all the profit you make on your main. Imagine if you leveled an army of 3, 4, 5 characters. You got them all to level 8 on Horde for RFC boost, or level 15 on Alliance for Stockades boost. Then anytime you get profit selling your refined salt or your arcanite bars, you reinvest into boosts. And even better, all your characters are getting double XP the whole time because they'll be rested. Within a few weeks, you've got an AFK moneymaker waiting for you every single time you log in. Have you ever tried to set up an alt army of your own to make a ton of money? I definitely want to hear about your gold-making empire in the comments. So talking about alt armies though, another one of my favorite gold makers is recipe camping. You can position different alts all around Azeroth at vendors. You get things like the Runecloth Bag recipe, Major Healing Potion, Free Action Potion, the Greater Shadow Protection Potion recipe. See, the profits on those recipes can be 20, 30 gold, and they sell really fast during the early phases of Classic. You can even get really creative. Look at these common profession guides on Google. You see exactly which recipes they're telling players to get, and you stock up. You could snipe the crucial engineering recipes for the thorium widget that everybody needs, or you could go for the must-have cooking recipes like the Roast Raptor and Arathi, or maybe the Mageweave Bandage recipe book. Always gonna be some free money. So have you ever sniped a crazy expensive recipe and flipped it for a big profit? I would love to hear about your success in the comments. So talking about recipe profit leads into this insane moneymaker, the reason I have over 300 Nightslayer gold despite not having a lot of time to play on that server. All you've got to have is a friend on the opposite faction that can get to the neutral auction house that can buy and sell specific items for you. The key is to really understand which items have price differences on each faction and why they might have those differences. For example, wool cloth. It is something that everybody needs for first aid and tailoring. If you look at the Horde side, it's really only farmed in the Barrens. Look at the Alliance side though. Every single player goes through stockades at least once, but probably they're getting boosted and going through dozens of times. That means wool cloth and Alliance will always be cheaper, 2 silver a pop. You flip 5,000 wool cloth and you'll be making 50 to 100 gold without doing anything. Or you could look at something like magic dust, a more niche item, but every serious PvPer they have to have magic dust. Because of their geography, because of their leveling zones, Alliance just happened to get a lot more magic dust than Horde, so the price is always maybe 4 or 5 gold, while on a Horde it's 10, 15 gold. Then there's the recipe arbitrage, which might be even better. You take something like the Savory Deviant Delight recipe. It's very cheap on Horde, it drops only in the Barrens, but on Alliance they're 10, 15 gold a pop. Or you take the Biz Herbalism Glove Crafting recipe. It's available on Alliance, so it's much cheaper there, but on a Horde they're up to 50 gold a pop, and people really do buy them. Another example, in Stormwind, Alliance has an exclusive vendor that sells a ton of different recipes that a lot of Horde players actually want, but the only way they can get them is the neutral auction house. I'm gonna link you a sheet below the video with recipes with very big price differences typically. Also, let me know if you'd like to see a future video about crazy deep arbitrage stuff and very good auction house flips and all the different sheets and tech that you can use. So there we go, all the very best AFK passive gold makers to stack up that gold, to get your best gear, your epic mount, and make sure you don't miss out on PvP. Drop me a comment, what AFK method do you plan to try first? And is there any crazy AFK passive gold maker that I might have missed? Hit like if this helped you and subscribe for more classic tips. Ring the notification bell as well. You really don't want to miss out on the next Classic Fresh video I've got coming. It is a big one.